What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. And before I get started, I just want to say like a big thank you for 100 subscribers. It means a lot, and it really encourages me to like bring more content out there for you guys. But yeah, like in this video, we'll be creating an API using FastAPI, the Python web framework. And this API will deliver memes really, as who doesn't like memes? So that's basically what we'll be doing. To break it down, in this video, we'll be focusing on how to collect these memes. So we'll be making use of the Reddit API. We'll be fetching these images from this API and then downloading these images, making use of a few other libraries within Python. So if you're interested in how that would work, then hopefully this tutorial will be of help to you. And then in the next video, we'll create our API itself, our meme API using FastAPI, a lot of APIs. And that's where we'll use the images that we've collected and use them as a response within our API. So if you are interested in how FastAPI works with images, then yeah, the second video will definitely help with that. But if you want to follow along, feel free. It's definitely a fun project. It was fun to set up. Yeah, like given the beauty of Python, it doesn't take too long to do either. But yeah, if you don't want to hear me ramble too much, the GitHub link for this project is in the description below. So feel free to check that out and just take what you want. But other than that, without further ado, we can get started. So the first thing you'll need to get started with this project is a Reddit account. So if you haven't got one already, I would suggest signing up. The sign up process itself is pretty fast anyway. Like it just takes, you can use like sign in with Google or Facebook or whatever. But once you've got the account, and the reason why we need an account is so we can make use of the Reddit API. And setting all that up is very straightforward. If you've ever used like the Twitter's API, there's a bit more to it. With Reddit, it's pretty simple. So yeah, once you've signed up, go to this API here, or not API, sorry, this URL here, which is reddit.com/prefs, so PREFS/apps. And if you're already logged in, like you should see something like this. So this is just telling me what devices I'm currently logged in with Reddit. But if you go right to the bottom, you'll see this little button here, which says, are you a developer? Create an app. And we want to click that. And this is where we basically create our permission to use the Reddit API. And in order to do so, we just need to do a few things. So I'll just zoom in a little bit. The first thing is we want to give it a name. So in my case, I'll just call it memes fast API. We want to set this to script as it's for personal use. And we won't be using the API within our fast API, if that makes sense. We'll just be using the script to find memes, get the URL for each of these memes, and then download them. So we won't make use of it inside a web application. We'll be doing this outside of our web application. And you'll see it anyway later on. We can give it a description. We can just say collecting memes. And then, yeah, you can leave the about URL. And in the redirect URI, there's something that you need to enter, which is basically this here. And I always forget this. That's why I have it saved in my clipboard. But you want to put in HTTP ://127.0.0.1 and then colon, and 8000 being the port. And we can just create, and then yeah, once you have all that done, like I have, you can just create app. And there you go. That's really it. That's all you need to do. So you just need to sign into Reddit and then go to this URL here, /prefs/apps, go down, create an app, and you should have something like this. And so this is what we need now. So we need all this information when it comes to connecting to the Reddit API so that Reddit themselves, they can verify that, you know, we're not like intruding on their data and we're using it like the legal way or the way they intended us to use their data. But yeah, we can keep that here for now. And now let's go and set up the project. So to get started with setting up the project, we'll just be doing the standard stuff with downloading or not downloading or setting up our Python virtual environment. And so I'm doing this within VS Code. So I've created some directory, in my case, a directory called FastAPI-memes, and then open VS Code within that. And I prefer to use the VS Code terminal or the built-in terminal. But yeah, so to get started, I'm going to use the Python VMV. So type in Python 3-m venv or whatever you prefer when it comes to building a Python virtual environment. Just hit enter on that, and you'll see here the virtual environment being created. And then the next thing you want is to activate it. So source venv bin activate, like so. And hopefully I'll just zoom in a little bit just in case. But yeah, to activate the virtual environment, just hit that. And then you'll see the name of your virtual environment, in my case, venv, just there within brackets. But yeah, I'll just zoom out a little bit. The thing we want to do now is to download this library or install this library, which is called Pro. And this is a really nice thing. It's like a Reddit API wrapper. Well, it is a Reddit API wrapper, which has been created. So we don't really have to worry so much about, creating any tokens or using the request library, which is a breeze anyway, but this Reddit API wrapper is great. So to install it, we just need to enter, or if you're using pip, do pip install pro. So I'll just take this, copy that, get in here and type in or copy or paste in pip install pro. Just zoom in again and then hit enter. Take a second to download. In my case, it didn't take so long as it's already been cached. But now we have pro. And so we can, basically get started now. So the first thing that you want to do is basically go into your directory, create a new folder, and I'm going to call this source. Zoom out a little bit. But that's basically it. And the last thing we want to install, before I forget, the last thing is this file, which I like to use a lot, is python.env. So it's this thing here, and we'll use this as because we've created these secret, this client ID, the client secret, and all that. You want to keep all this stuff private. And if you're planning to kind of put this onto GitHub or anything, you want to keep these secure in a .env file. And within your GitHub repo, you'll have a git ignore file, and that tends to ignore .env files. But yeah, I'll show you now. So actually, let's go ahead and just install this first. So I'm going to use python-env. Just copy that, and then back in the terminal, install that as well. And now that's installed. So yeah, I've installed pro, which is this here, using pip install pro, and I've also installed python-env. We're using pip install python-env. I'm repeating myself a lot, but yeah, I just want to make this as clear as possible. So within our source folder, let's first create our __init file. __init__.py. Let's close that. We won't be writing anything here. And close this thing here. And finally, we can create our .env file. And this is where, so within source, type in .env. And now we can go ahead and create our client ID. So we want client_ID. And then we want to take, so if we go back to our Reddit developed applications, this thing here, so this, you can see on my screen underneath personal use script, we want this as our client ID. Take that, paste it in here. And then we want the client secret. and we want this here where it says secret. Let's copy that. And then finally, we just want like the name, or the, as Reddit would call it, the user agent. And that's the name that we have. So memes, in my case, memes dash FastAPI, like so. And just save that. So if you're not familiar with the .env files, the reason why we're putting this in here is these are like our environment variables. We don't want to store them, like hard code them inside our Python files. Let's say if you're uploading it into GitHub, you don't want people to see that. It's private to you and personal to you. And if you're wondering as to why I'm exposing mine, don't worry, like I will be deleting my keys at the end of this video, so or the end of this series, so that yeah, like you like no one else can use them and also abuse these keys that I've created. But that's really it. These are the 3 things that you need in order to connect to the Reddit API. So now we can get back into coding. So within source, we'll create a file called, let's say, meme, oops, no capitals, meme underscore collector.py, like that. And I'll just shrink this. But yeah, now within here, we can get started with connecting to the Reddit API. So the first thing that we want to do is import OS. And we can import OS as underscore OS, as I like to do my imports with an underscore, just to keep these protected within my files, within this file here, so we don't accidentally import underscore OS within another file. That's basically why. It's just a preference. You don't have to do this as underscore OS. And then also we want to import .env, which we just installed, so that as .env. And in order to get that up and running, we just need to do .env and then do load.env, like that. And yeah, in my case, I always forget this if you see my other videos, but I will be using the formatter called black for Python. This is just to keep like Python, my code tidy and visually pleasing. So I'll hit yes on that and it will just install that already. But yeah, you don't have to do that. And if you, oh, did I just kill it by accident? Let's do that again. Pip install black. Yeah, if you want to install it, just do pip install black. And that will just install this formatter, which keeps your code nice and clean. But yeah, that's another preference. But now we can go ahead and create the client. So I'm going to wrap this inside a function. So I'll call this create Reddit client, like so, client. And now, oops. And now we can say client equals, and now we want to make use of pro. So if you remember, we installed this library here, or this module, and so we can import that. So we can say import pro as underscore pro. And we can say underscore pro dot Reddit. And here we can make use of these environment variables that we saved. So for the client ID, we can put in underscore OS, as these are environment variables. So all of these are environment variables. We can do underscore OS and then environ, square brackets, and then the name of it. So client underscore ID. Second one, client secret. And we'll set that to underscore OS dot environ, and then oops, client secret. And finally, we can say user underscore agent underscore OS dot environ weird. Yeah, user agent, like so. I'll just copy that, paste it in. And that should be it. That's how simple like this pro library is. In that, like, yeah, you just have to initialize it like this, and there you have it. You have your Reddit client, and within this function, we can just return client, like so. This here. Why is that not picking it up? Never mind. that should be fine. Anyway, of course, no comma splitting. That's probably why. Yeah, and now client. Cool. So yeah, now we have the client. We can go ahead and start looking for memes. So the kind of go-to place for memes I like is just this subreddit. Yeah, so we can do memes subreddit. This here. As these are quite friendly memes, there are a lot of like rules around what memes should be shown and what shouldn't be shown. That's why I like to keep this clean for this video. These memes are pretty safe. But yeah, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to kind of get the memes from this like memes page or whatever page you want to get it from, and we need the URL. So each of these images, so if we click this one here and then go on open image in new tab, and this is the image that we want. So we want this URL, basically, like we want to get this image. So in order to do that, we can basically say, we can create this function saying get image URLs. So we want these URLs. And what we'll do is we'll pass in a client, and that will be a pro.client. I'll zoom out a little bit. Maybe that might help. Let me just check. Yeah. Hopefully this is readable for you guys. But we'll do underscore pro.client, and as that will be the type, so a bit of type hinting. And then we want the subreddit name, so you can personalize this later. And this will of course be a string, and we want the limit, and I'll show you why this limit here. So we want, let's just collect the hot memes. So if you're familiar with Reddit, then we're showing the hot memes, so like the more popular ones, and I think these are the popular ones for the day. So we want hot memes, as we don't want like just random memes. We want memes that have been voted or that are trending on this page. And so we can use our client that we pass in and say subreddit. Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes it's a bit annoying. Like it doesn't show me the like it doesn't give me hints. But yeah, what we want to do is type in client, which is this here, and because this is saying client. So yeah, remember this should be pro_pro.reddit, not underscore client. And now we will have access to the subreddit here. So we want this subreddit, and we pass in the subreddit name. In this case, if we were to use this one, we'd do memes like this here. And we want the hot ones, so we want the hot, so we just do .hot, and we want to limit it to the limit that we pass in. So I think the maximum limit you can put in is 100. So anything between like 0 or 1 and 100 is fine. But yeah, now we can create like a list of image URLs like so, and this will just collect the URLs and just hold those URLs. So what we can say is, so for post in hot memes, we can put we can do image.urls append, and then the post, and then finally just return image URLs like that. So now we can test this out. So we can go ahead and do, we'll put it in here and say main. So these are like 2 underscores, and we can create the client. So we can say create Reddit client. And the reason why, just to mention like why I've put this underscore here, is it's more like to remind us that these methods are like protected and they should only be used within this file. So if we see ourselves like importing or making use of this underscore method in another file, then we're doing something wrong, or we should look at our code and kind of rename some things. But yeah, now we create our client. This returns our client, and then we can get the image URLs. So we can just say URLs and do get image URLs, pass in the client, and the subreddit name will say memes. Yeah, just to be clear, I'm putting in the named arguments. Oops. Memes, and we'll keep the limit at something small. Let's say 10. And then finally, we can just print out these URLs. So now if I expand this a little bit, we can go into the source folder and let's see if this is working. So we can type in Python and then meme collector. And yeah, there we have it. We have like our these aren't actually our URLs. The mistake I made is we need that post.url, like so. So the mistake was that I kept it as post. We're returning posts, and we want to get the URL out of it, so we can just do that. If we run this again now we have the URL. So if we click on one of these images, so if I click on this one, command, click, open. There we go, we have a meme. I love kids, they're so cute. Oh my god, me too. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. But yeah, so these URLs work now. So that's good. Yeah, so thing to mention is that within this kind of within this subreddit, it only allows us to post images, which makes it easy. So that means we know every single post will be an image. But on some subreddits, they don't have this kind of restriction. So if I were to go to one subreddit, let's say like programmer memes. I guess programmer humor. Let's try this one. Just got that. Yep. So programmer humor. If I go on to create post, they don't just have images. We can write a post as well. They have of course images, a link, and poll. So this kind of opens some things up. So if we go back to the subreddit, discard all that. Yeah, so like for example, if we were to get like the hot posts, like it'll also pick this up as well, and that won't have a URL, like an image URL that we want. This one does, this here. This does, and there like this top one here, that doesn't, so there will be some issues around that, in that there's no image there. So there's a workaround that we can do. We can create like a check to see if a image has, if it's a URL, if it's an image, sorry, for each post. And I want to create this like helper method, which will basically say is image, like so. And we'll pass in a post. And we can say try return post.post hint equals image, like so, just a string. So post, and then there's like a post hint that's associated with each post. If that post hint is an image, then yeah, return true. If it's not, then return false. But the reason why I'm putting this in a try except block is because not all posts have this post hint. So we want to be wary for that as well. So we can type in except attribute error, and we just want to return false here. So we don't want our like application like collapsing because it doesn't have the post hint. So now here within our get images URL, we can basically say if is image, pass in the post, then we want to append indent that. Yep. So if this post, so for each post in our hot memes, I think a better name for it would be hot post, but we'll keep it as hot memes for now. So for each post, is this post an image? That's what it's checking for. If it is, then we want the URL. If it's not, then just leave it. So I'll go through each of these and then it will do it. So we could actually check now for like programmer humor. So if we take this name here, programmer humor, and let's say we change this to that. Let's just make this bigger, clear it, zoom in a little bit, and we can just do Python meme collector. Let's see what we get. And yeah, we get it. So what's happened is, like, if we go to any of these like images, so click this one, we see this like nice hello world meme. I guess, what is that, C++? But yeah, like we've kind of, it's skipped, like this was, if we go back, like this is this meme, but it's skipped this one because it's not an image. It knows that, so we've told it if it's not an image, just leave it be, don't like collect it. But because of that, we won't get like all like 10, because we asked for 10. Like, I think what it will do is like it will include within that limit. So I think here it's probably 9. But yeah, like we need that in there. We need this like check here. This is image check. But yeah, cool. Now we have like our URLs. We can collect our URLs using the Reddit API. The next thing would be to save these images. And in order to save them, we want to give each of these images a name. And luckily, Reddit already does that for us. Like, each image has a unique name. We don't want to save images and accidentally save them with the with saved names. Then we'll like have issues when it comes to downloading them. So Reddit already kind of like randomizes or creates like an ID for these images which are unique. So we can make use of that. That's what we'll do. So we'll take this, like in this case for this meme, we'll take this image name and then we'll use that as our file name. So in order to do that, we can go ahead and create a function that allows us to like get the image name. So we can do get underscore image underscore name, and we'll pass in the image URL. As you can see here, like in our the images that we've taken, like it has the name. So it's this here, for example, like this 7Z01EE2XYO V61. So that's like the name, and that's what we want. We want to extract that from the from each URL. So we can say image name URL. So we'll pass in a URL. This of course will be a string, and we'll return a string. And then we can say image name, and we want to make use of this thing called this like function called URL pass. So we can do import URL lib.pass as underscore pass, and this will have this URL pass method. So we can basically say to get the image name, we want to do pass dot URL pass image not image name, image URL, like so. And then finally, we just want the base name. So this, like here, if you can see where my mouse is, this 7Z01EE etc. .png, and we can just put in return underscore OS dot path dot base name, and then we can just chuck in the image name here, and that will return the name of the image. That's basically it now. Like we can get the name from the URL, we can get these image URLs, and now we can focus on like downloading our images into our directory. So what we want basically is, let's say we want all the memes from our meme subreddit. We want to create this memes folder named after the subreddit, and then chuck in all the images for that in here. Just delete that. But yeah, so now we can go ahead and do that. In order to do that, let's create another function called download image. And this will take in a folder name. So where do we want to store this image? That will be a string, a response, a raw response, and we'll get to that in a second. Oops. And an image, the name of the image. So the name that we extract from getImageName here, and that too will be a string. And oops. And for now we can just put pass. So this will handle like the downloading of our image. But okay, let's get to the actual crux of this kind of like like downloading or collecting our memes. So we'll create like a collect memes method here. And we can say we want a subreddit name. Oops, subreddit underscore name. That'll be a string. And we want the limit, which will be, it's an integer, but we can like set it by default anyway. We can always override it, but we'll set it to 20 just in case. And we can add like a nice little doc string here. So what we'll be doing here is this collects the images from the URLs and stores them into the folders named after their subreddits. And yeah, so if this doesn't make too much sense right now, just wait, I will explain. So we can go ahead. This is where like the bulk of our like downloading memes operation will happen. So we can say client equals creates Reddit client, like so. We want to get the image URLs, and we can say get image URLs, and pass in the client, the subreddit name, which will be subreddit name, and then the limit, and that will be, in our case, just the limit that we've set here. Yeah, so yeah, if you remember earlier, like I installed the black formatter when I clicked Command S, like it reformatted it so it wasn't one long line. But yeah, it just keeps everything like within the same margin, if that makes sense. And yeah, now we can go ahead and like download these images. So we can say for image URL in image URLs, we want the image name, and that will be like we'll do get image name and pass in the URL, so image URL. So now that we have the name, we also want to get a response. So what we need is the request library. So this already comes with like every Python environment, virtual environment. So we can do import requests as underscore requests. And this is what we'll use to like get our images. So now within response, we can go ahead and say underscore request dot response, get, and we pass in our image URL, and we also want to set stream to true, and we need stream to be set to true as we're dealing with images. If this is set to false, we won't get any images. So this is why we need stream equals true. We want to check to see if the response.status code is 200, so to make sure that it was successful. And then we can say response.raw.decode content, and I'll explain what this is in a second, to equal true. And then we can use our download image, which we haven't like finished yet, but we can say subreddit name, and then response.raw, and then the image name. So the reason why we've set this response.raw.decode content, we need to set this to true. Otherwise, like the downloaded image, the file size will be 0, basically meaning that there's nothing there. So that's why we need to set this to true. Yeah, but that's all we need. Like we need this stream equals true, and we need this response.raw.decode content to be true in order to actually like get these images. But now we can go back to this download_image function, which for now we basically put pass, and we can go ahead and write the write this function in. So the first thing we want to do is create the folder. So I'm just gonna put this back here again, and we can create a function that says create folder. And the folder will be named after the subreddit that we asked for. So we can say folder name string, and that's it. And this will basically, what this will do is just to add some more doc strings. If the folder, does not exist, then create the folder using the given name. So basically this folder name, and the folder name comes from the subreddit name. And this helps because every subreddit has to be unique, which by default will then mean like every folder will be unique, so we won't have any like naming collisions. So yeah, at the same time, we're also getting ready to do some of the like organizational work within our code base, which is nice. And we can do a try, and we can say _os, and then just make directory and name it after the folder name. There we go. And then we can just do an accept. And we can say print something happened. We could actually just say OS error like that. But yeah, like that's say something happened. So yeah, it's not that important. But we want to check to see, so that way we're not like rewriting the folder each time we're like collecting an image. And that's why we just want to handle that. And then we can just put like a nice message saying folder created. Like so. So now we can go back to our download image, and we can make use of our create folder. Say folder name, and then we can do with open to write our image in. So this will like allow us to just download it, and we can say f folder _name / image name. And then we want to say write binary, and we can say as image file. And then we want to make use of this like this sh util file, and this will help when it comes to downloading our images or saving our images into our directory. So this, of course, like we don't need to install it. It comes with the Python shell. And we can just say shuttle. I don't know how to say it. I would call it shuttle. But yeah, sounds quite rude, but yeah, shuttle also sounds funny. Oops. Yeah, shuttle, and then back to where we were. So here, and now we can use that to kind of like it saves our image basically. So we can just do shuttle copy file object. So I think it gives copy data from file like object to file like object. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense, but essentially this allows us to save our image, and we just say image file. So 2 parameters, raw _response. So this is the response that we will get when going to each of these URL images. these image URLs, and then this file, of course, is what we're writing to. But that really does it. Like it's a few like weird names or weird function names, but other than that, it's fairly simple. Like we don't really need to do too much. But that should work now. We can now go ahead and try this out. So we can basically just do, actually wait, let's keep this programmer humor and just remove all that. And then we can do collect memes, subreddit name, say programmer humor. And then what else does it take? The limit is 20. So let's just keep it at 20 for now. And yeah, like if it works, like if you look here in like where you can see my source folder, you'll see the programmer humor folder being created, and then you'll see these images being like downloaded into it. So I'll just make that a bit bigger, zoom in a little bit, and we can now run this. So fingers crossed, meme collector, and we have our first error, and that is because yeah, silly me, you guys probably saw that, but yeah, forgot this semicolon. No, it should be fine. Let me just clear it. Let's run this again. And another error. Expected string byte. So OS path, where's this error coming from? Get image name, base name. Okay, so it's this error here. We're getting one with underscore OS pass base name, and the reason why is because we need dot path here. This image name, this passes it, and then we just need the path from that. I think that's the reason. Oops. Just save that. And here, clear. Sorry about all that. But yeah, like mistakes happen. I don't want to come across as being like an invincible engineer when it comes to like writing this. Like I want to keep these bugs in to remind you that I'm human and also remind myself. But yeah, fingers crossed this time. Let's hit it. Okay, now we have something. And there we go. We have our images. So like we're getting these messages like something happened, which means that like it's working like this here. Oops, if I just zoom out a little bit. But if we go now to, where are you? Yeah, this is running. So it creates, like the first one was something folder created. That's because like it worked. And then like this OS error, just it's there to make sure that we're not like deleting this folder and then creating another one. But yeah, these are just like gentle reminders or messages. But now if we go on to Programmer Humor, we can see we've got some memes. Yeah, so yeah, I don't want to waste too much time looking at these memes because I really can get lost in these. But that's really it now. Like we have, what we've done is we've connected the Reddit API. We have like retrieved images or we've taken memes from some Reddit subreddit, taken the URL from that meme, and then downloaded that image from that URL. And that's what we've done. So we've got memes for Programmer Humor. We can go ahead now and try it for some other ones. So we can say, and yeah, like here, like as you can see, like it's named after the subreddit we've downloaded from. So we can just say memes, and we can run that now. Just make this a bit bigger. Oops. Just clear that and do Python meme collector again, and you'll see here memes and these images that are coming in. And yeah, we don't have to worry with about like naming because all these names are unique. So Reddit does that for us, which yeah, like saves us a lot of time as like yeah, coming up with like random or like not random but unique names can be a bit tiresome. And yeah, so thank you Reddit for that. But yeah, like that's really it. We've got our memes for Programmer Humor and memes. So like if you're following along, feel free to like just mess around with this and really mess around with it because it can be great. You don't have to just do memes. You can take images from elsewhere. We can try another subreddit. Let's do like cat memes are always classics. So we can do cat memes. This one's like a good one. So here it allows images and video and also a link. So we can just say, and we've got something that checks for that. So we can just go back, take this name, cat memes, and let's just download a few. So cat memes, clear that. And there we go, we've got cat memes. So yeah, like pick the memes that you want for the API. If you want memes, you can go ahead and just do any images. I guess we could probably do like just like normal photography images. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with, actually let's do one more, and history memes are always great. Let's take that, called history memes. And this is the last one, I promise, because I will get carried away with this. Oops. Meme collector, let's put in history memes, clear that, and do Python meme collector, and we will get history memes. But yeah, that's it. That's all the kind of categories of memes I'm gonna take for now. But yeah, like this is really it. Like we even get GIFs as well. So yeah, this works fine. But yeah, cool. That's really it for this video. So to kind of wrap up once again, we've connected to the Reddit API. We've taken memes from Reddit. We've downloaded these memes, saved them onto our local setup or into our code base. And in the next video, we'll use FastAPI to return these memes. Again, like my earlier FastAPI videos, or my one when it comes to web scraping with FastAPI, web scraping and FastAPI, that like two-part series, it will be pretty similar in terms of like simplicity. We won't be going too deep into like the overall kind of features that come with FastAPI. We'll just be returning images. So if you are interested in how to do that, we'll be doing it in the next video. But yeah, hopefully this was fun for you. It was fun for me doing this. Of course, like anything meme related is always fun. But yeah, if you have been wondering how to do something like this, whether it be downloading images or connecting to the Reddit API, then hopefully this video has answered your questions. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and let's wrap this API up. And if you want to deploy it, go ahead. I won't be focusing on that. But yeah, all this code is free to use. And yeah, other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.